How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today we are doing another video where I go shopping, and it's at a local place called the Rooster. You walk in, they got a lot of kids stuff, a lot of kids poles, some miscellaneous stuff, and they got like this whole big wall of different paddle tails. They got Power Pay, they got some Crush City freeloaders, Mayors, some Storm Largo shads, some Savage Gear stuff. Then I went and found this bargain bin where everything was 99 cents. Even this big honkin' paddle tail swim bait. I wouldn't even know how you would go about rigging that. Maybe like a Butch Brown kind of a thing. I don't even know. And they did have some kind of cool stuff. They had some worms. They had some like paddle tails and some ribbon tails. I went with these craws. Probably do a video on that. And it had a pretty good ice fishing section. They had some power bait larva stuff. They had these little spikes. Huge Savage Gear, like burbot tubes. And the big sucker lure and the big pike Savage Gear lures. Those are all cool. And literally all the power bait you could ever want. A whole big wall of different bobbers. And like these local tackle shops in general have weird stuff. Like this is a weird frog. Like you can take that head off and put different stuff on, or I don't even know how that works. Different frogs, chase baits. They had a fair bit of chase bait stuff. Not super familiar with the brand. Some live target toads. I've seen these at other like little small tackle shops, and those are kind of goofy looking. I don't know how well they work either. Terminator frogs. They had this Berkeley Power Pop Mini, and it got like some BFS like Japanese stuff like writing on it. Thought those were kind of neat. A little hollow body popper. It's different stuff, different bladed jigs. Some other different jigs. This was kind of like their pike section. They had these huge rattle traps and some big old whopper ploppers and some other stuff. They had some more burbot tubes, had some bucktails. I was really surprised they had cull shads, and they have that weird lunker hunt bait, that chase bait or whatever it was. I was surprised though that they had the 8-inch Berkeley cull shad. Like, that's a big honkin' swim bait. They had some big swim baits in there. I was really surprised. And of course, the Swedish Pimple, if you know, you know. Snook Snacks. That's like his go-to for snooks down in Florida. Some walleye stuff, some local stuff. Like this. The Tommy the Trout by Weston. Huge bait. And they got like, just like kind of crazy stuff like that. These look cool. This is from Northland. This is the Minnesota Mullet. Huge bucktail jig. That would definitely catch a big old lake trout or a pike. Huge daredevils. They got like that red eye, that 2 red eye one. And then they had a lot of Rapala stuff. They got X-Raps. They got the other ones. I can't even remember. Like the Elite Countdowns or whatever. I did go ahead and pick up this live target lure, this juvenile trout. I thought that was pretty neat. But this was the coolest section of all. This was the old antique tackle. There was crazy stuff there. Jitterbugs, head and mouses, head and sunfish. Just like even like old flatfishes. Like look at that. I think that's a head and pumpkin seed. And there's that little whale kind of looking thing behind it. Just crazy cool stuff. I could have sat here and looked forever. They got that little frog back there. I don't remember what it was called or who makes it, but I could have just sat there and just looked at all the lures. It's kind of like a swim bait thing. I was enthralled. And they have the OG Pocket Fisherman, old reels, old rods, some really cool stuff. And then some old antique South Bend. I didn't even know South Bend was that old. An OG Bagley Balsa B. And then I didn't even know that Northland Tackle made like a realistic craw, but it had a pretty decent craw section. This used Zuri 3D crawl. That was kind of weird. Power bait. I think those are the champ or whatever. And yeah, that was it. So that was my time at the Rooster. It was a cool local place. Had a lot of unique stuff. I could have spent like a solid half an hour just looking at antique lures. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Please consider subscribing. I don't have too many more places to go, I think, to buy tackle around here, so we might have to venture out or go to some unique tackle shops whenever we're traveling. But I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe, and we will see you for the next one.